Welcome to the Client Avalanche System. My name is Pat Dewar, and my partner Troy Sinclair is on the line here. We're really excited about showing you a system that will, on a systematic basis, give you more clients, more prospects, more revenue easily. I mean, that's the thing that we really want to make sure that you see out of today is this program doesn't make you become a slave to your business. It doesn't make you relinquish any of the power you have in your business or change what matters really most to you. This program is designed to really take you guys to the next level and give you the keys to help you generate more revenue, more profits, more clients and leads on a continuous basis. Now, the only thing I ask is that you turn off your distractions. We're in such a distracted world. You've got Facebook, LinkedIn, email, pop-ups, all this stuff. Just turn it off, because this program is really going to be different from most anything you've had before, because there's no selling today. It's not about selling anything to you. I'm not trying to get your pocketbook open or anything. This is just trying to share a system that is working in our business that any business owner can begin to take and implement into their business and create massive change. So one of the things I do want to acknowledge right up front is that this webinar is for you if you're trying to get off of the roller coaster ride of the cycles in business, where you've got feast, famine, all of that stuff going. I mean, we know what it feels like when it's not there. We got unicorns running across the yard, but when you have that going on, it can really stress you out. Many of us will, we sit there and have thought, man, maybe I should go back to work for somebody else and take something easier. But as a business owner, as a sales leader, as someone that is a professional, if you're looking for a system, we're rolling it out. And then if you're looking for ways to create an endless supply of qualified leads, that's a big need of a lot of businesses. And then having, you have no system for generating a steady supply of money to your business. Those are the people that this video is for you. This webinar is for you. Now, same note, it's not for you if you're not open to changing the way you think about your business. You already know everything there is to know about creating massive profits in your business, and you don't value your company or yourself enough to really change. And so if that's you, if you're in that mindset, you're in the wrong place, and it was nice having you on here this far. But for the rest of you, so you know, my name is Pat Dewar. I consider myself a business activation coach. I've actually helped more than 15,000 business owners in the last several years, and my goal is to help 5,000 people really activate their business and their lives over the next 12 months. Now, my partner on the webinar tonight is Troy Sinclair. Troy, tell us about you.
Excellent. Hey, thanks, Pat. Glad to be here. Been looking forward to putting this together. We've been kind of planning this and mapping this thing out. And, I just want to say to everybody, that I have been in the digital space now for 10 years, been in marketing 25 years. And probably the thing that I'm most proud of over this last 12 months is that I've assembled a really dynamite team around me, including Pat. I've got, one guy on my team that is an utter Facebook genius, generated $1.1 million in sales in 60 days with one product online. I've got a Google genius, he's generated over $1 million in sales for one business in 1 year, and he's done it over and over again. We have worked with many different high-profile people recognized in the information and the internet marketing space, and we've helped them to generate more leads, more revenues, more profits. And we're going to lay out the basics here today, like Pat covered, and I'm really happy to be here and want to provide as much value and answer as many questions as we can. So let's rock and roll.
Very good. Okay. So one of the things that I'm excited to hear, like what you just said, we've done a lot of things right, but at the same time, we've done a lot of things wrong. I mean, I know that there have been lots of times where in the early part of my career growth and in my business development, where there were some real struggles going on. And so it's, we bring that stuff to you and we're trying to give you a roadmap, a cheat sheet, a shortcut to getting more profit into your business more quickly. That's the design of the Client Avalanche System. So as we get into this, the next thing I want to just say is that, we purchased this wisdom through a lot of blood, sweat, tears, late nights, and a lot of other stuff. And we've learned how not to create cash flow in the business, but at the same time, discovering this tool and then helping you to discover and implement this Client Avalanche System can make all the difference. Troy, did you have anything to add you wanted to put in there?
No, I'm just, it has taken, and because the climate, as it relates to digital marketing and the entire marketing space, because things change so rapidly in today's world, it's not always easy to stay on top of, and so, but there are tried and true proven methods. We're going to talk about those today, and let's roll it out.
Okay, very good. So the first thing I want you to do is just imagine what it would be like if you had an endless supply of leads coming into your inbox every day, that you had people lining up to get your attention, fighting for time, so to speak, to get on your calendar. Just imagine what life would be like if that was your reality instead of your dream. What would you be able to do with your family? What would you be able to do with your company and with your friends? And what kind of things would you do if you had all of these things in place? See, that's what we really want to roll out for you today. Now, I have to throw out the disclaimer. This isn't a get-rich-quick scheme. We're going to show you a program. It's up to you to implement it. People that implement things get results. People that don't are the ones that make us have to put this disclaimer up here. So just realize that this is not something that is without effort. It takes time, it takes attention, it takes someone who's dedicated to their own success in their business and their lives, not somebody who just wants information and won't do anything with it. So people that do the system will get the results. People that don't won't. And we just have to, throw out the results may vary. So with that, we move on to the next thing, which is the Client Avalanche System. What's your attractor factor? We're going to roll out 5 key factors in the system to help you create that endless supply of leads, prospects, and clients that you've been wanting. Key number 1, let's jump right in. You need to identify your ideal client. I mean, you got to really refine that identity down to a client that is in a smaller segment so that you know exactly the message that those people need to hear. If you don't do that, you're kind of scattergunning the thing instead of laser focus on exactly what needs to happen. That market segmentation and brand identity leads to profits. Clarity leads to profits. Clarity to the customer creates sales. Scarcity makes you more attractive. You refining your attention down to a smaller niche of people that you want to address, that's where you become the specialist rather than the wandering generality, so to speak. And then really speciality makes you more money. It's where you are that specialist. You get to charge more for your time and attention because you really answer the biggest pain in the marketplace that you're trying to address. And I know, Troy, you had some things you wanted to say as well on this about the clarity of finding out your ideal client. Anything?
Yeah, absolutely. Like the big key, and whenever we start to work with a client, the big key is really being able to establish the brand identity, who you are, what you do, what you're famous for. And brand ties in with market segmentation, as you just talked about. And I think a great example that everybody may have heard one time before, and it's worth repeating, and I might use a couple of them, is if you're a doctor, okay? If you're a general practitioner, you're not making the big bucks. If you're a brain surgeon or you're a heart specialist, now you're making bigger money. You're a cancer specialist. You've taken more time to learn more, hone your craft, specialize, and those types of people make really great money. So, when it comes to marketing, are you specializing with working with, say, recruiting companies? Are they recruiting companies that recruit for Fortune 500? Are they recruiting companies that have X number of staff? So this process of really defining, who your client avatar is, what do they look like, what do they do, where do they hang out, the demographics, the psychographics, understanding the brand, and being able to identify your market. And I'm going to tell you right now that I've worked with, I don't know how many hundreds of people over the years, that this can be a hang up for some people. Okay, this can be a problem. They're asking, well, who should I work with? I'm not sure who I should work with. I'm having trouble dialing in that market. And I realize it's not necessarily a small task, but it's one that needs to be done. And pull out a pen and paper, figure out who your market is, and do your best to get it dialed in. Not to say you can't switch somewhere down the road, not to say you can't expand your market somewhere down the road, but you need that clarity up front so that as we get into key number 2, they tie together. Let's go to key number 2, Pat.
Very good. So key number 2, you must create a specific answer to your ideal client's greatest problem. We've got to create a message. We've got to create a solution that is so specific, so direct and laser focused that it answers the greatest need, the greatest pain of the niche of people that you actually want to address. Because with that specificity, you get more people raising their hand, because you're not shooting across everybody in the marketplace. You're actually speaking to a specific group of people, and that way they can hear you because they are already in pain, screaming for your solution. So specific solution sell. What I was just describing is when you're so attractive that you understand and you address what's the biggest need they have daily, what keeps them up at night, what are they stressing over, what they already know what they're doing right now. You know that because everybody in that niche does that every day. Why aren't they getting the results that they want? How's your answer more effective, and what results does your answer deliver, or keys that have to be answered in any communication with them, in any dialogue that you create, where you are the answer to their greatest pain? Anything you wanted to add on key number 2, Troy?
Yeah, for sure. So, you've probably heard the term USP, unique selling position, unique selling proposition. This ties in, like let's take, for example, in the weight loss space, done some work in the weight loss space. Actually was involved with a company that did a lot of work in the weight loss space. And for example, if you're a fitness trainer or you're in the weight loss space, and you're able to say to somebody, hey, I'm going to help you lose 20 pounds in 30 days. That's big. It's bold. If your program can do it, and you're talking to somebody who really wants to get aggressive, like they've had it, enough is enough, they want to trim down, and they see your offer, you're going to get their attention. Okay. We have one particular company we're working with right now. I can't get into all the details for anonymity purposes, but for example, the offer with this particular company is 5 free leads. So come on over, work with us. We'll give you free leads to check out. These leads have an average value for the clients of between $1,000 and $2,000 on average. And so by giving them 5 free leads, they get a taste of what this company can do. And then obviously the next choice is, hey, let us provide you with these leads every single month. And, some of the famous examples out there is, positioning like Apple has positioned themselves. Apple has positioned themselves so well that Apple fans simply are Apple fans, and the bottom line is you can't get them to buy anything else. So it's a specific solution in a marketplace that's framed to handle what's going on with the client, and by positioning it properly, they understand that you're the expert because you're able to articulate their problems properly.
Right.
Go ahead, Pat.
No, I agree. I know that when you look at even people that are offering, like, they give away a book and have the person pay for shipping, that's that creating a message to a specific group of people. But when we go to key number 3, what does your lead generation system look like? What do you do on a daily basis that gets people to raise their hand and say, tell me more? So you've got to have a lead generation system, whether it's using LinkedIn, Facebook, email, direct mail, Google, cold calling. There's got to be some sort of outreach on a daily basis. And there are really great tools that you can use within all of these to create this in a systematic way. But the point is that you've got to have a system in place. What's your system? What is it doing? What are its limitations? You've got to be consistent every day. This has to be happening. And then getting the okay to promote yourself is now a polite way to do business in this world we live in now. Well, a lot of it is just trying to make sure somebody raises their hand and you say, this is my solution. Can I share it with you? And if they're like, yeah, I'm open, talk to me. Well, then you've gotten the door open and you've created that yes mentality that begins the process. So that's the things that I wanted to say on that. Troy, was there anything else you wanted to say on key number 3?
Yeah, absolutely. If anybody's looking at this screen right now, freaking out over cold calling, listen, I've done my fair share of cold calling in this world. Okay. It's not easy. It takes a very special kind of person to pull off cold calling. However, cold calling does work. Okay. Picking up the phone does work. And there's all kinds of automated tools. We didn't list it down here, but you got things like dial one services where you have an automated message that can call clients. If they're interested in your message, they get to press 1, talk to a live person. I've managed campaigns like that many times. You got ringless voicemail. You can drop voicemails on cell phones. I have specialized in LinkedIn marketing for the last 6 or 7 years, helped build 6-figure companies on LinkedIn. Like I said earlier, $1.1 million on Facebook with one product in 60 days. And we've built literally dozens and dozens and dozens of successful Facebook campaigns. Email marketing. I've got one friend of mine, and I do successful email marketing, but I've got one friend of mine who has literally sent hundreds of thousands of emails with such a high level of success. He's closed literally millions of dollars in business with email marketing. And listen, direct mail. I'll tell you, a really well put together direct mail campaign, let's say with some lumpy mail in it, like, one of the favorites out there, I'll just make reference to, like, put a 2-pack of aspirin, inside with your 1-page or 2-page sales letter, and basically refer to the fact, if this problem's giving you a headache, I understand. I've worked with people like you. We found the solution. It's not always easy, but we've put it in place. Here's how we can be of assistance. Let's jump on a call and talk and see if this is the right solution for you. So, like Pat said, whatever means of marketing you're going to do, you got to have a consistent plan, do it day in and day out. And your plan, of course, needs to be refined. I mean, listen, we have started many campaigns that, quite frankly, did not start off very successfully. Okay, they didn't start there. And we had to refine it. We had to fine tune it. We had to dial it in. And we were able to increase the conversions. And so it does take a little bit of trial and error. Somebody says, hey, well, I ran a LinkedIn campaign, sent out messages. Nobody responded. Well, guess what? It's not that LinkedIn doesn't work. It's just that your message wasn't the right message. So I just want to say that all of these things work. You got to take into consideration your budget, your skill set, and eventually, as you grow your business bigger, you want to be able to outsource this stuff, either grow your team or find people to handle the things that don't necessarily make you money. If your job is to be in front of people selling, then you want to spend 80% of your time with clients and have somebody else handling, the digital stuff or the mail stuff or the shopping carts or what have you, however your business is designed. So lead generation, I used to, Pat, I'm gonna close this slide with this for me, but I used to have like 40 different services that we offered a few years ago. And one day I was just sitting down looking at all these services, and what just really opened up for me at that moment was all this stuff is designed to do one thing and one thing only, and that is to bring clients in the door. Whether I'm working with, doctors, lawyers, contractors, e-commerce, whatever the niche might happen to be, the only thing that they want is more customers, more clients. And so rather than offering these 40 different services, when I talk with somebody, I find out what's going on in their business, like some of the points earlier, their brand, their offer, what are they doing now, what's working. And when you get all that dialed in and the clients start to flow, it doesn't matter which one of these you're using, but it just has to be set up properly on the front and then rolled out properly. So with that said, we can go on to number 4 if you'd like.
That's great. Like I say, the most important thing I see there, even beyond that, is just keep it going. Be consistent, because this is something that we got to do every single day. And then we go to number 4. It's have a sales system that's proven and works. And when I say sales system, some people freak out on the word sales. They don't want to be salespeople. And I go, look, the origin of the word salesman is servant. You got to have a way to serve your people that is proven and literally converts the conversation to the moving forward and both of you feeling like you won. When you look at this, it's getting the client to close themselves without being salesy. Do you have a roadmap? Now, I know, Troy, you said you were talking earlier about, before the webinar started, we were talking about your roadmap, and it encompasses everything on the slide. So would you tell us your roadmap that you're using?
Yeah, absolutely. And what I will say as far as the roadmap and the sales process is concerned is that, I have studied this whole process real thoroughly over the years in terms of, the psychology, the scripting, what to say, how to say it. And really, if you don't have a really well put together process, then you're going to stumble and fumble. You're not going to want to get on calls with people because you're not sure where to take the process. And so I have a very specific roadmap that has been developed, and it really goes like this. Number 1 is your pre-call preparation. Takes 5 minutes. Make sure you're ready. Make sure there are no distractions, etc. a lot more things I can go into on call preparation, but I make sure I'm not in front of the computer or anything like that. I like to work hands-free, like to be on a headset, etc. So the call starts, a little bit of chit chat at the beginning. Hello, how are you? One client I was talking to today happened to be in Florida. My first comment was, Florida's my favorite state. I absolutely love Florida. My mom lives down there. My dad lives down there. So, a little bit of small talk at the beginning. Number two, stick the agenda and take the lead. I let people know, look, I've done hundreds of these processes and this is how it's going to unfold. I'm going to answer your questions. I'm going to ask you about your business because there's absolutely no way I can make a recommendation to somebody without understanding their business, understanding what's going on. So I tell them the roadmap. Part three, figure out why we're here. Why did they respond? Okay. Part four, understanding their current situation. I've got a bunch of questions that help me to understand what's going on in their business right now in terms of sales and pricing and customers and their USP and that sort of thing. Part five, gathering essential data that allows me to understand their pain points. What is keeping them up at night, like we talked about earlier? I got one client I was talking to earlier this week, and very successful company. They're doing between $40,000 and $50,000 a month on Amazon with a group of products, and they're stuck. Okay, he can't get beyond it. He doesn't know how to get beyond it. He called because we have an Amazon division and he wants help to, how do we break this barrier? How do we take it to 100 grand a month? So gathering the essential data, part five. Part six, figure out what they want. Okay, and that revolves around, what are your goals? Where do you want to go? How do you see this thing unfolding? Part seven, and this is really critical, and it really, if done right, this is kind of the magic sauce, so to speak. And what it is it's a process where you get them to release control and self-admission. Basically, this is the part where they tell you why they can't do it on their own. Why do they feel they need help? And it's in their words, and they're giving us the information, which now lets us move to part eight, which is gain the commitment, wrap in the emotion. Part nine, we acknowledge the gap, we acknowledge the problem, and we ask for permission to share. Now that we have permission to share, part 10, we state what we're an expert at. We tell them what we can do, and we wrap it into the problem. Part 11, we state the offer and how it works. Okay, lay out the offer. Here's how it works. Part 12, you're stating your offer with incentive-based pricing. And one of the keys back in part 11 is to, there's a process that I have built into this where you get them to ask you for the pricing. Okay, rather than quote unquote volunteering the pricing, they actually come to the point where they're like, all right, well, this sounds great. How much does it cost? And then part 12 is stating your offer with incentive-based pricing. A reason for them to take action now, rather than thinking about it for the next, 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, and quite frankly, probably never really making a decision. Of course, then you've got, objection handling and things of that nature. But that's the 12-part system that, personally, talk about blood, sweat, and tears. I've spent thousands and thousands of dollars when it comes to sales training and putting this process together. And this particular system I just outlined has literally brought in tens of millions of dollars. It has been used by hundreds of consultants. So what I've outlined is tried, true, proven. So that's really, everything you see on the screen for key number 4. It really revolves around having a system that you're using.
Excellent. I know that is something that a lot of people really need desperately. And then key number 5 is having a follow-up system and nurturing process that keeps you top of mind. I mean, when we're talking about this, 80% of the sales come after the 5th or more try contact with that person. So we've got to follow up. You got to have a CRM that can help you with the relationship management side. And ultimately, you want to have a sales funnel that does 90% of the heavy lifting. I mean, these are the keys that if you begin to actually take and implement, everything in your world begins to shift, because now you've got systems and you've got a plan of attack to attract new leads, new clients, new prospects to into your business, and more revenue ultimately. Troy, do you have anything you want to add on key number 5?
Yeah, I'll keep it short. You know, you gotta start where you can start. Okay. And eventually you want to implement the systems as Pat just outlined. And ultimately, I recommend everybody has a sales funnel, something that, you know, educates the clients, feeds them information, keeps in touch with them, keeps the touch points going. We just got done building the other day. One of my writers, we built a 90 email sequence. Okay. And those 90 emails are designed to be delivered over the next 12 months to potential clients. And, you know, so eventually getting to the point where you have a funnel and you really got this thing dialed in, and you've got the process so that, you know, you're focused on clients, your processes are running, your leads are coming in, and you do what you do best.
Okay. So here we go. Last thing is that, let me just ask you a question. Is there anything that is stopping you from implementing the 5 keys that we've laid out here? Is there anything that's keeping you from moving forward? Is there anything in your business that would hinder you? I'd say no. I think you can take these and run with them and move forward. And we told you that there's no selling going on. I mean, we're not trying to get your wallet or get your credit card number or anything. We're just laying it out there going, if you implement these keys, you're going to start to create more leads, prospects, clients, and revenue for your business. And that's been the heart of this exercise, is just letting us sow into your life and into your business, creating value in the relationship. And because, you know, the one thing I would ask is this, that, you know, if you have questions on these, Troy and I are, you know, a resource for you. We can really help you. If you have ask clients questions about some of the aspects of creating your niche, or actually implementing some of the tools that we've talked about, creating a system around LinkedIn, or any of those type of things, call us. These 2 links here, you've got my calendar link. If you just copy that, paste that into your browser, it will take you right to my calendar, and you can pick a time when you want to talk. Or with Troy, same thing. You can get right on his calendar and get this taken care of. Like I say, it's been an honor and a privilege serving you today and sharing this information with you. We want you to succeed and really thrive in your business and every day. We want to see you create the business that you wanted and the lifestyle that you wanted from the beginning. Troy, is there any final words that you want to add?
Of course, yeah. You know, like, listen, guys, I have been a solopreneur in my life. I know what it's like to have to do it all. Okay. And, you know, sometimes you just got to do what you got to do. And the fact is that, you know, we've tried to lay this out today in such a way that these are the key points that you need to have in place. And if you are in that spot where you're a solopreneur, you know, do the best you can, implement everything the way that you can. Most importantly, figure out how you're going to get that reach with that client and what that special message is going to be to get them to want to talk with you. And then as your business grows, obviously you want to build a team around you, whether it's somebody handling your LinkedIn, or somebody handling email marketing, or someone writing ad copy, or sales training. You know, there's all these things that can be added as you grow. And maybe you're on the line and you already have a pretty successful company and you're doing pretty well already and you need help with certain areas, like Pat said, we're happy to talk, and just wanted to really lay this out so that the tools were there, the foundation was there for anybody to like roll up their sleeves and get this thing rolling. I'm happy to talk with you. Both Pat and I probably got this message to you via social media of some kind, LinkedIn, Facebook, etc., maybe an email. However it was, you're going to see our calendar link there. Feel free to click on it if you want to have a conversation, ask any questions, you need any help with that.
Very good. Troy, you got a little warbly there, but I think just like you saying, folks, thanks so much for your time. Thanks for the call. Get on our calendars if we can help you. And with that, it's been a pleasure serving you. You guys have a great evening. Okay.